Dear students of Class 8, today's lesson, the French Revolution. In my previous lesson, I discussed about the role of the American revolutionaries in the freedom struggle for their country and the role of George Washington. His tremendous effort helped the Americans to gain victory against the British, and that incident marked the beginning of a new era, the rule of the Americans by themselves. That means America became an independent country. And I discussed that point because during the War of American Independence, the French people, the French revolutionaries who had been fighting against the oppressive rule of their king, Louis XVI, also extended their cooperation towards the American revolutionaries. As a result of it, America became an independent country. Now, what happened to France? Now, I am going to discuss about it. The French Revolution. The success of the American Revolution encouraged a spirit of nationalism in other countries all over the world. That means the American Revolution encouraged the people of the other parts of the world where the oppressive rules were there under oppressive rulers. So the American Revolution encouraged the French Revolution or French revolutionaries. At the same time, the spirit and the growth of nationalism also encouraged the other revolutionaries of different countries of the world where oppressive rules were there under their oppressive rules. The French soldiers who fought for America's independence were witness to America's freedom from colonial rule and the establishment of a democratic and federal government. The French soldiers, the time when the Americans were struggling against the British rule, a large number of French soldiers fought on behalf of the American soldiers in order to strengthen their war of independence, in order to make them free from colonial rule. So their cooperation and the active role of the Americans helped them to establish a democratic and federal government there. The necessity to obtain freedom from misery and injustice began to be felt by the people of France. At the same time, the people of France also realized that the same rule also was there in their country. The same oppressive rule under their oppressive ruler Louis XVI also was there. That rule should be immediately overthrown. The rule of Louis XVI should be immediately stopped. Otherwise, their condition could be miserable, more and more miserable. That's why they had been eagerly waiting for a new era to start the beginning of a rule based on democratic concepts, social concept based on socialism and humanism. That's why on 14 July 1789, an angry crowd stormed the Bastille prison which housed political prisoners, signifying the beginning of a revolution in France. As a result of it, the people of France, especially those who grew very much aggressive against the oppressive rule of Louis XVI, on 14 July 1789, that angry group of people stormed the Bastille Fort, the great Bastille Fort, where political prisoners were, imprisoned there, in order to get them free, in order to set them free from the Bastille Fort, Bastille jail, a large group of angry French people stormed the great Bastille Fort and broke the main gate of the Bastille Fort, set free all the political prisoners from there. They came out of the jail and joined the revolutionaries, and the day had become a great historic day. The French Revolution was taken place in France. The French Revolution started in 1789 and continued for 10 years. This revolution, although the revolution of France started in the year 1789, yet it continued for 10 years, for about 10 years. It is not only it not only changed the socio-economic and political structure of France, but also affected the whole world. The entire social and political circumstances, political condition of France was not only changed by the political revolutionaries of France, but also it brought a remarkable change throughout the whole world in the sphere of political political influence of the political leaders, oppressive leaders. It was one of the greatest events in the European society and became a turning point in human history. That's why it is said that the French Revolution was a turning point in the history of the human beings, in the history of humanism, in the history of socialism, in the history of democracy. The people of France proved to be successful by means of their own efforts, by means of their aggressive rule, and as a result of it, the oppressive rule of Louis XVI came to an end. The monarchical form of government which was established in France, it was transformed into a modern democratic nation state. So this is the, my dear students, this is the importance of 14 July 1789. The formation of the democratic nation state also explained. Now, causes of the revolution. What were the causes of the French Revolution? There were certain causes behind the French Revolution. Some causes were there. One by one I am now teaching. The main reasons for the revolution was the general social and economic and political turmoil. Every field there was to be changed. Why? Because the oppressive policies of Louis XVI. Louis XVI was not only an oppressive ruler, but also a very unsympathetic one. He never excused any person, but always punished them severely. Those who broke his own system, those who broke the rules, he himself made it. That's why in the field of social, economic and political history of France, the people brought a remarkable change by shifting Louis XVI from power. Louis XVI ascended the throne in 1774. The national treasury was exhausted due to the expenses incurred during the 7 Years' War and the Revolutionary War in America. Louis XVI, on being ascended to the throne of France in the year 1774, faced 7 Years' War between France and Britain. Britain was more prosperous, more powerful than France. The time when the war was taken place between these two countries. So it was due to France and its king Louis XVI. France had to face a lot of problems. During the time when the 7 Years' War was going on. Now, why is it? Because of the economy of France and the economy of Britain, because of, the naval power of France and the naval power of Britain, because of the technique and method of France and technique of method of Britain. In all spheres of life, in all respect, Britain was superior to France. That's why Louis XVI had to spend a lot of money while fighting against Britain. Besides, the life he led was very luxurious, which also had become a great cause of the exhaustion of money. So the entire circumstances of France could not favor him to be an efficient king of France. As a result of it, the people of France from the very, very beginning wanted to shift him from power. But it was time consuming. Although they started the process, yet they were facing a lot of problems because just the process was started. But they kept on struggling against the oppressive rule of Louis XVI. The country faced deteriorating economic conditions. This accentuated the already prevalent social inequality and extreme poverty. The lack of political will to address the situation further aggravated the crisis. Louis XVI's national treasury had become almost exhausted because of the 7 Years' War and his lifestyle. He led very luxurious lifestyle, spent a lot of money while for leading a very luxurious life along with his wife Marie Antoinette. So the amount of money he spent at the cost of the people of France. So the time when he was facing financial crisis, he passed various laws, oppressive rules against the people of France. He also imposed various types of taxes on the common people. The condition of the common people, especially third estate, had become very miserable. Now, what is third estate? Third estate, in my next teaching, I shall explain about it. First estate, second estate, third estate. There were three estates who were known as, which estate was known as first estate, which estate was known as second, and which one was third. Next day I shall explain about it. Now, the miserable condition of the common people of the country forced them to raise their voice against Louis XVI. But the time when they were doing it, Louis XVI did not allow them to protest against the system he introduced. Immediately he imprisoned them and tortured them in the jails. That's why the inequality between rich and poor means first state, second state, third state, inequality. There was no equal rule There was no equal opportunities